Hello, everybody. It's Daniel here. Welcome to Emotional English Podcast, the podcast where you learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, everybody. Another day, another chance to learn English. And today, we have another reading club. We are continuing reading the book. It's called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And today is another episode of this beautiful reading. And as I said before, we're not trying to finish the book ASAP as soon as possible. We're trying to read it step by step. And while we're reading the book, you guys can learn English. We can discuss some new vocab and we can just interpret things. We can think about life in general. We can use examples from book, how to use these examples in real life, right? We can make some practicality at work. So that's our goal. And before we start, I just want to say you're always welcome to join our emotional English community on Telegram and on vk.ru. So just go to the links. It's showed in this episode. And follow our community. So every day we post something interesting there, and we like it. And I hope you would love it as well. By the way, we've got some donations recently. I'm very, very excited to say this. It's a lot of motivation, guys. It's a lot of passion. Thank you all for your donations. It's amazing when you support our podcast. I have more motivation to make the content like this when I see that you like it. By the way, if you want to share some ideas, some topics, what you want to hear on our podcast, just let me know. If you will send the donation and if you attach your message to your donation, I will understand what you guys like and what content is kind of great for listening. So now we can continue our reading. Lately, we spoke with you about the discussion between the boy, right, the shepherd, and the fortune teller, right? So the gypsy. And we continue from that moment when the boy leaving this gypsy. And the boy is very disappointed this very moment. I'm sorry to say that again, a little off topic here. My voice is not very stable still, so I'm so sorry. I've got sick with possibly corona, but now I'm getting better. So things are getting better, much nicer. A little sinusitis left, but things gonna be okay. And we continue with the next section. So the boy was disappointed, as I said, and he decided that he would never again believe in dreams because, the fortune teller explained things to him and he didn't believe it. So it was nonsense, right? Nothing to believe there. It was something surrealistic, right? And it was not that realistic. So he remembered that he had a number of things he had to take care of. So he went to the market for something to eat. He really was hungry. And he traded his book for one that was thicker. And when you trade something, right, you give something you have and you exchange it to something better for yourself, right? So if you finished one of the books, you can trade your previous book to the new one. So the boy did exactly this thing. So he traded his book for one that was thicker, and he found a bench in the plaza. What is a plaza? Classically, plaza is the place where people, walking around. It's a plaza. And he found a bench, like a wooden chair, long one, prolonged chair, right? Many people can sit on it. It's a bench. So he found a wooden bench in the plaza where he could sample the new wine he had bought. So I am disagreeing with this thing. Guys, I am not an alcohol drinker, and I'm not recommending you to drink anything like that. So this podcast is alcohol free. So let's be sober. Let's join our sober family. All right. So the boy was sitting on the bench, right? in the plaza where he could sample. Sampling, it's like trying, right? When I sample the new wine, I'm trying it, right? I can sample the new type of coffee. I can sample the new type of tea, right? So that's what sampling is. So he was sampling wine he had bought, right? Who was sampling? The shepherd, right? The boy. He was very disappointed. He came to the market. He was looking for food, right? He was looking for an exchange of his book, right? And probably he had found it, right? So the day was hot and the wine was refreshing. So he bought a little glass of wine, probably, right? Or the bottle. And he was sampling it. And the day was very hot. He was kind of refreshing himself by the usage of wine. So he was drinking it. When something is refreshing you, or you just describe it as refreshing, it can be used as adjective or verb. You feeling much better after it. For example, I can drink water because it's very refreshing. Or I can drink a Coke because it's refreshing. Or I can drink coffee and it refreshes me, right? So the same, I can use it as a verb or as an adjective. So the sheep were at the gates of the city in a stable that belonged to a friend. The boy knew a lot of people in the city. By the way, do you know what is a stable? It's not like stability, right? It's a place where you leave your horse, right? And probably his friend owned it, right? The stable. And he left his flock of sheep there. So his sheep were there, right? The boy knew a lot of people in the city, and that was what made traveling appeal to him. He always made new friends while he was traveling, and he didn't need to spend all of his time with them, with friends, of course. When someone sees the same people every day, as had happened with him at the seminary, they wind up becoming a part of that person's life. As you see, what is the nice vocab here, right? We have the word, like a phrase, wind up, right? Let me highlight this word. What is wind up? When something is winding up, it's just happening with you, right? So the people winding up, and they're coming to you, attaching to your life, right? Winding up, it means it's coming to you closer and closer and closer. So the friends wind up, and they became a part of that person's life, right? Our boy, right? So friends wind up his life, becoming a part of his life. And then they want the person to change, right? So these people, they are winding up, becoming a part of your life. And then these people want you to change. That's what happens, because the people describes your life. So it depends what kind of people you have around you, because you are becoming the part of their life, and they are becoming the part of your life. So you're creating your own success by that case. So if someone isn't what others want them to be, the others become angry. And this is very true, right? So when people don't like what you do, they start ignoring you, they start blaming you, they start disliking you, right? They don't like what you do because they want a particular person near them. So that's exactly what it is. And when people winding up, becoming a part of your life, they want to see the exact person. If you start to change, you will see how the situation would change. You would see that they would be angry. They would become more attentive to you. They would say, hey, why you're doing this, or something like this, or you're stupid, or whatever. They would do everything to keep you near them. But if you are all about development, and if you see that you're your direction is to develop your skills, yourself in general. So you probably will leave these people alone, right? Very interesting story. And the story of our boy, right? The shepherd boy. So he met a lot of people, right? In his life. And these people, they became very nice people, right? They became very good people. They they became a part of the boy's life when they met them. So they had something to discuss, right? And he left his flock of sheep on the stable, right? On the stable. And his friend controlled that stable. That's good. Absolutely. So if someone isn't what others want them to be, the others become angry, as we discussed already. Everyone seems to have a clear idea of how other people should lead their lives, but none about his or her own, right? It's very understandable here. So people who discuss something, right, or who create the interests, or who have interests like you, who are sharing their interests, they like this only if you are not changing, as we had discussed. But if they see the difference, they criticize you, but they never criticize themselves, right? And that's very sad. So everyone seems to have a clear idea of how other people should lead their lives, but none about his or her own, right? So it's all about others. It's never about themselves. So again, this is not the direct message to you guys, but this is just what the book is trying to tell us, right? If we have friends, they're always with us because we have some interests. And if we change and your friends are not changing, you probably will break up your friendship because things are changing, right? Interests are changing. I remember myself when I was a school-aged boy, and I remember how I was playing computer games day after day. I had no extra interest. And then I remember myself when I started to read. When I was 17, I started to read a lot. And I remember when everybody started making this aggro move to me. So everybody were becoming angry because they were not reading. They wanted me to be the same. But I was reading books. I was kind of developing. I was trying to be someone, right? To become someone. And I remember my first trip to USA. Nobody believed me that I would go. But you know what? I was doing what I had to do, right? I was doing my job. And I didn't listen to anyone. I was doing what I supposed to do. And I succeeded with my first trip to the USA when I was 18. That's a good trip. That's a good journey of life in general. So that's a good text. I like it so much. So yes, we should pay attention to people who are around us. And if we're developing, we should look for people who are accepting our development, who are accepting what we're doing. Because if they don't, if they fight, if they are becoming angry, that's not the people we want to see near us, right? Very clear. So he decided to wait until the sun had sunk a bit lower in the sky. So again, we already finished the idea of friendship, right? So we're finishing this topic. And then the boy decided to wait until the sun had sunk a bit lower. You know, when the sun is very high, it's probably very hot, right? So he was waiting, right? He decided to wait until the sun had sunk a bit lower in the sky, right? Probably the sun becoming less active. And from that moment, so he wanted to move further, right? The boy, he decided to wait until the sun had sunk a bit lower. It's like sinking, sunk. It's the past tense usage. And the sun sinking in the sky, right? So that's the idea. This is the context here. So the sun had sunk a bit lower in the sky before following his flock back through the fields. So he was thinking, okay, it would be hot, right? Let's wait a bit when the sun had sunk a bit lower, and then we'll go, right? So 3 days from now, he would be with this merchant daughter, right? So 3 days from now, so after 3 days, he would be with the merchant's daughter. So the girl he was dreaming about. You remember? We had discussed that he's moving to the direction of this merchant. He want to sell and he want to shear his sheep and sell all the stuff from his sheep, right? To make some money and to show how cool is he to the merchant's daughter, right? And who is the merchant, by the way? Merchant is, if you remember correctly, it's the seller, the person who is selling something, the merchant, the businessman, opposite. Or so this is the old construction, old word for a businessman, a merchant's daughter. So he was looking for a merchant's daughter. And our boy started to read the book he had bought, right? So he exchanged, he he traded his book to the new one. And he started to read that book he had bought. On the very first page, it described a burial ceremony. Burial ceremony. What is a burial ceremony? It's when the body is dead, right? The person is dead. He should be buried, right? So, and this is the burial ceremony. So burial ceremony, take care of the body, people singing songs. It depends on the culture, of course, or just letting, giving some ideas or sharing some parts of memories about the person. It's all happening during the burial ceremony. And he was reading about a burial ceremony. And probably burial ceremony happens near the church or in the church, right? And the pastor is saying something about Jesus or whatever. It happens in different cultures. So, and the names of people involved were very difficult to pronounce. So it's probably about the book still, right? So on the very first page, the first page described a burial ceremony, and the names of the people involved were very difficult to pronounce. So there were many people in the burial ceremony, and all the names of these people were very hard to pronounce. If he ever wrote a book, he thought he would present one person at a time, so that the reader would have to worry about memorizing a lot of names. Yes, and this is very true, by the way. This reminds me Leo Tolstoy, right? So if you read War and Peace book, so there are so many names, so hard to memorize all of them. So if the boy would ever wrote a book, he's like thinking about it like hypothetically, right? He hypothetically imagining the situation. He would present one person at a time. So one chapter, one person, right? So it's easier to memorize when you have a little amount of characters. And to be honest, I do love books with a very short amount of characters. And when I'm teaching my students, I'm trying to use mini stories with a short amount of characters. We're not trying to implement hundreds of characters in our mini story. It should be 1, 2, or 3 characters max, not more than that. And I like this story of Alchemist because we have a main hero, right? The alchemist, the shepherd, right? And he is walking somewhere. He is having a big adventure, and we just see what happens to him, right? So all other characters are just side quested, so they are not the main ones. So that's why we are very concentrated and we understand what's going on, right? So the boy just thinking about his ideas about characters, right? It's easier to memorize a lot of names by pieces, step by step. So when he was finally able to concentrate on what he was reading, he liked the book better. And by the way, this is a very interesting statement here. So when you start reading a book, sometimes you can think about something, right? If the book is very interesting and practical, you want to implement something right away and you're forgetting what you're reading about. So this is very popular. When I'm reading my book, if I have an idea or something else, I'm stopping reading. I'm trying to go away from reading, and I'm changing my priorities. So I'm start writing things down, or I'm having a little log, right? I have like a little piece of paper near me, or a little notepad where I write down my thoughts, or I'm using my iPad or my computer, or I'm just writing down the little note section just to not forget it someday. That's very useful. And if you're reading the book and it doesn't make any sense, just stop for a moment and start again. Concentrate, right? It's just the representation of lack of concentration. We need concentration to understand things. And the boy had exactly that. When he was finally able to concentrate on what he was reading, he liked the book better. The burial was on a snowy day in the book, right? The burial ceremony. It was on a snowy day, and he welcomed the feeling of being cold. As he read on, an old man sat down at his side and tried to strike up a conversation. Oh, good construction here, to strike up a conversation. What do you think is this? Yeah, when someone is trying to strike up a conversation, he wants to talk. He wants to start the conversation, to strike up a conversation, right? So he asked the boy, what are they doing? The old man asked, and he was pointing at the people in the plaza. Working, the boy answered. So you see a little dialogue here. So the boy was sitting down, reading his own book, and then the old man, sat down at the side and tries to strike up a conversation. So he asked the question, what are they doing, these people? Maybe just to start the conversation, to strike up the conversation. It's just a very strange looking phrase to ask. Why are you so interested, right? Why are you so curious about it, man? The old man, very curious old man. By the way, do you know who is curious? Curious man is the person who wants to know more. Kids are curious, but not old people. Probably they're not curious anymore. They just want to strike up the conversation for nothing. They have no interest. So, the boy answered, working. These people are working. And he answered that dryly. What does it mean when you answer dryly? It means you're not very interested, right? If you answered dryly, you are like not paying attention to the situation, right? He's whatever. Working, they're working. See, I'm answering dryly. So making it look as he wanted to concentrate on his reading. Yeah, I like to do this. If some crazy weirdo is asking me a question, I'm just doing what I'm doing, right? I'm not paying attention. It's the best. The person would find another person to bug, right? And to disturb. Yeah. So actually, he was thinking about shearing his sheep in front of the merchant's daughter so that she could see that he was someone who was capable of doing difficult things. So the boy, he was not thinking about reading. He was thinking about another thing, about the girl, about the merchant's daughter, and how he could show how cool he is, right? How capable he is, right? So that's what he was showing. Not really. He was imagining it, not showing it. So the girl, in his mind, right, had an opportunity to see how capable was he of doing the difficult things. Good imagination. So he had already imagined the scene many, many times. And every time he was imagining this scene, the girl became fascinated when he explained that the sheep had to be sheared from back to front. Oh, yeah. So he was trying to shock the girl, probably, right? He was like, hey, look what I can do. I can shear this sheep from the back to front. How cool am I? Right? So, and the girl like, wow, fascinated. So when someone is fascinated, he's very interested. He's like, wow, it's like a shocking effect. When you're fascinated, it's a very good thing. I hope it's in a good way, right? If you're listening to this podcast, are you fascinated or you're bored? So probably fascinated, it's the opposite of boring, right? The boy also tried to remember some good stories to relate as he sheared the sheep. So, yeah, he also tried to remember some good stories to relate as he sheared the sheep. So he was imagining what stories he could, tell to the girl. Probably it's a good thing to do. Most of them he had read in books, but he would tell them as if they were from his personal experience. Yeah. And it's a good thing. So he's a person who is traveling a lot. And these people, they have a lot of chances to tell a story, right? I have so many stories from the USA when I was there at the first time, at the second and the third time. There are so many stories I can tell you. Maybe next time, maybe we'll make another segment of our podcast when I will tell you stories from my life. We'll see. If you're interested, just let me know. Send me the message. And you know how to do this. So she would never know the difference because she didn't know how to read. So this is the funny story. So he expects that the girl is not able to read. And that's why she would never know the difference of his own story and the story from the book. He couldn't check it. He couldn't check the reality and the fairy tale. And we're almost in the end of our today's episode. So the last paragraph. Meanwhile, the old man persisted in his attempt to strike up a conversation. He said that he was tired and thirsty, and he asked if he might have a sip of the boy's wine. The boy offered his bottle, hoping that the old man would leave him alone. So this is the final part. And as you see, the man was persisted. He was persisting. He was persisting in his attempt to strike up a conversation. He was trying again and again and again. He was making up things, right? But finally, he said what he wanted, right? He said that he was tired. The old man was tired. And he was thirsty. And he was just asking if the boy might have a sip of the boy's wine, So he wanted to drink. And the boy offered the bottle. So the boy was drinking the bottle of wine, not the glass as I guessed before. He was drinking bottle of wine, hoping that the old man would leave him alone. Yeah, maybe he will leave, maybe not. We will know for sure next episode in our reading club. So let's finalize today's discussion. We had discussed a good portion of text, right? And I will ask you a couple questions, right? Maybe you can tell me what we just discussed. First of all, we need to know that the boy was very disappointed, right? And he was thinking about that crazy fortune teller. And next, he came to the market, right? He came to the market. He bought some food. He bought a bottle of wine. He found a bench, right? He was sitting on the bench and he was sampling his wine. And what does it mean to sample the wine? Can you revise me that? Yes, indeed. It means when you're trying and you understanding what the wine is, what the wine is made of. And is it a delicious one or not delicious? Is it good wine or bad wine, right? So, and the wine was pretty refreshing. Is it good? Indeed. When something is refreshing, it's very good. It gives you energy, right? So if I'm drinking water, it refreshes me. It gives me more energy after all. And when we had discussed the story about friends, right, and friendship in general, we discussed the word wind up, right? And we discussed that friends wind up and became a part of the boy's life. So they like sticking to the boy, right? They sticking up with the boy, winding up, becoming a part of the boy's life. And we had discussed that not everyone is in love of change, right? If the person is changing, the person can become angry. Many people, they're like owners. They want to have you at the particular specific way, right? They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to become better and bigger. They want you to be the same day after day. It's very comfortable. It's not something new. And the boy decided to wait until the sun had sunk, right? He was waiting when the sun will sink a bit lower in the sky, just probably because it would become a little bit better by the temperature. And he started a new book, right? He started a new book reading, and he started read about the description of a burial ceremony. And do you remember what is burial ceremony? Yeah, that's the bad thing. When people die, they have this burial ceremony. Very bad thing, right? I mean, it's a good thing, but it's a very sad thing, right? I feel a lot of tears in my eyes right away. But this is the burial ceremony. When people die, people should organize the burial ceremony near the church, right? Then, after he had read something, he was thinking and hypothetically discussing the idea of too many characters in one story, right? If you have a one chapter and you need to remember all hard names, it's pretty complicated. It's better to use another approach with one name of the person at a time. And that is pretty acceptable. Yeah, he was hypothetically thinking about this. Next, the boy, he was finally able to concentrate on what he was reading. And he was thinking and visualizing how he was shearing his sheep in front of the merchant's daughter. He was like, promoting himself to the merchant's daughter. And he was imagining how she loves him, right? How she complimenting him. That is so good. But then, accidentally, the old man sat near him, and he was striking up a conversation. What are you doing? What's going on? But the boy was very concentrated, so he answered very dryly, and he didn't pay attention to this. He was just visualizing. And then the man finally persisted, and he persisted to strike up a conversation, and he asked for a sip of wine, and he said that he's very tired. And that way, the boy offered him a bottle of wine, hoping that the old man would leave him alone. So we just retold the whole part of the text we had finished today. I hope it was useful. I hope it was interesting to listen. And I think we can conclude our today's topic. Don't forget to subscribe our podcast. Don't forget to subscribe our communities on vk.com and on Telegram. Follow us, and you will learn English very effectively, guys. Thank you all. I hug you all, and I hope to see you very soon next week. Let's stay in touch and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.